devotee of God. Your devotion has the capacity to increase every day. Just with your willingness to invite devotion, with the understanding that it may show up in all different kinds of ways, but that devotion is a gift to your soul, it's a gift to your spirit. Your spirit is waiting to be free. And when you open to devotion deeper and deeper, it just makes the transformation beautifully, easily unfolding. It's always this beautiful balance of devotion, commitment, faith, trust, surrender, acceptance. In many ways, they're all the same thing. But in other ways, they have a nuance that takes you deeper. One moment you could be needing faith, and then another moment it could be trust or surrender that is the center of attention at that moment, what is truly needed. On the side of love, on the side of God, there is never any possibility that God would not provide exactly what is necessary for you to go as deeply as possible, to learn as deeply and as quickly as possible. So God is love, is always providing everything that's needed. So the idea of being on the one side of asking for help, but then being hyper vigilant because you want to make sure that it goes correctly according to your plans, there becomes a conflict there. In the surrender, you keep trusting, you keep allowing that everything will unfold and that it will be in perfect harmony for your learning, because that is the only possibility when you ask for help. The truth of love will always lead you in the deepest, most perfect way. And the only thing that can get in the way is the ego mind that thinks it knows better and starts to stick its fingers in and try to orchestrate things. Or that the thoughts come of doubt and the fear and worry, and but all that can be surrendered. All of that needs to be surrendered moment to moment until you're comfortable resting in God and trusting in the divine. There is medicine waiting all the time. The medicine is just truth that transforms when you bring it into your mind and heart. But it's really taking that medicine as the true medicine, just as if you were struggling with an illness in the world, you would look for the medicine. And the medicine is the way of love, with all the truth, with all reality pointed out to you so that you can follow easily. It's so essential to remember that there's never a mistake from God. There are no mistakes in the answer to your prayers. There's never a mistake in any teaching that comes to you. And if you can trust that, if you can enter into that trust, then it becomes so much easier because you're just being put into the boat and you are going down the river without worrying about where it is that it's going to unfold because it is in God's hands. Placing everything in the hands of God is the way to peace. The mind will keep making up things to fret over or worry about or think something has to be resolved or any number of ways of getting your attention, but it's just to keep surrendering it all and keep coming back to the truth of peace, letting it hold you. I'm going to sing a hymn that I would sing all the time, and somehow it would touch my heart so deeply of my yearning for resolution, to step out of the insanity and come home. My mother, I ask that you hear me, for I'm here with forgiveness in my heart. I ask not only for me, but for all beloveds. My mother, show me the way. Show us the way to true forgiveness within our hearts. The boat that sails on the sea also sails in my heart. I am here, moving toward the light of love, ready to be cleansed and ready to be led back to love. Meu Pai, peço que vos me ouça, para eu pedir o perdão. Eu peço não só para mim, meus irmãos. Meu Pai, quando for perdoar, perdoa como e convém. Eu peço que vos nos perdoe, como perdoou em Belém. A barca que querem no mar, pore no meu coração. Akele ke aki bachiza, bachizo no hio jishodao. I ask that you hear me. Sometimes prayers and say things like, I ask that you hear me. Well, of course, love will hear you. But the words are actually for the one who is singing the hymn or saying the prayer. I want to be heard. And this is my purpose for speaking, to be heard by the truth of love. That you want to communicate, that you want to open the peaceful communication that is always present. Love is the funeral pyre. Love is the funeral pyre where I have laid my living body. All the false notions of myself that once caused fear and pain have turned to ash as I near God. What has risen from the tangled web of thought now shines with jubilation through the eyes of angels and screams from the guts of infinite existence itself. Love is the funeral pyre where the heart must lay its body. The burning up of the past is what the funeral pyre is for. That as you come nearer to God in truth, your identities, your beliefs, your relationship with separation begins to start to burn up because you are no longer giving it your loyalty. All the false notions of myself that once caused fear and pain have turned to ash. Notions about yourself. The whole time of the past was for most spent in believing that it was the outside that was the problem. That if you could just fix the outside, it would change everything. And we spend a huge amount of lifetimes trying to fix the outside. And the whole time, the spirit of love is calling you back to the mind within. That it's upside down from the past is also why the past is so important to heal. Because everything about it being upside down is the illusion of lies, of a false identity. All the pain, all the fear. So everything comes back to the one element of surrender. But to really embrace, I have this choice in this moment. No one else can make this choice. Only you can make the choice for your divine self. And it becomes the simplicity that nothing real can be threatened. There is no threat in anything that's actually real. And nothing unreal exists. What is real is love. There's nowhere else to go with it except that it's the perfection of the universe, the harmony, the peace, the joy. Everything that the past wasn't ready for, but now you can be ready for it. You're saying yes, and in your yes, doors open, and you're willing to see it through the eyes of medicine. You're willing to see your relationship with everything through the eyes of harmony. And the most beautiful part of the healing of transformation is that there is never a moment that you are not held. There is never a moment that you are without. The mind can make up whatever it makes up, but it doesn't make it reality. And to keep coming back to the awareness that only love is real, only harmony, only peace, nothing unreal exists. If it is not peace, if it is not love, if it is not harmony, it's made up. That is the freeway back to love. Not accepting any longer that when there is an upset, when there is a disturbance, that it has a validity and that it deserves a reaction. No, it doesn't deserve a reaction. It deserves the awareness of its illusion and the gratefulness that it is illusion, but to see it for what it is. And what a glorious day when that truth becomes what you hold for everyone that you meet within a day. Whether you've met them before, whether they're new in an awareness of this particular being, whoever and whatever, you have the opportunity of holding for them the truth of their existence, their spirit. They may not have a clue that you're holding them in the light of truth and that you're there to honor them. You're there to affirm their perfection and bless them. And whether they have any idea or not, it, it's not about the outside, it's about your inner peace and your inner purpose to remember love, to offer love. Imagine what it would have been for you in the days before you felt the call to return to love. But before that, you were seeking in the world, seeking either friendships and or relationships and or feeling your worth through something outside. And no matter what you did, it never congealed as truth, because all the while the divine was waiting within, waiting to be met and communicated with. And all the while the divine is whispering. But because of the fear that we carry, the fear always speaks loudest and always speaks first. And when you're used to listening to the loudest and the first, it's hard to hear that quiet voice of love that is really there for your unfolding of your journey and your learning of what is really true about you and about the world. Nothing unreal exists. Only love exists. You cannot lose the truth of who you are. You cannot change the truth of who you are. You cannot make it better or worse because it's already perfect. To ponder and to contemplate on the perfection of your being is really asking for inner vision, and it's really asking for revelation. You want to see the truth of the universe with the help of God, to open that door, whether it's for 2 minutes or a minute, so that you can experience a second of God's light. It's always here, it's always with you, but it's in the quiet. And when we talk about the quiet, eventually the inner quiet is with you all the time because it's who you are, it's what you are. There's a quietness, a stillness that is your natural state. And it could be, you could be dancing on the outside, but that inner quiet will still be there because the stillness of God is within you. You could be talking, you could be singing, you could be laughing, you could be dancing, you could be running. Whatever the expression on the outside, the inner stillness is still there. And it is your heart. And it's a happy heart. It's a joyful heart. But it's not a hysterical heart. It's not a worried heart. It's not a I know heart. It's not a timid heart. And it's not a proud heart. It's a loving heart that has no needs because everything is already within. And the willingness to accept that and to find that relationship with the inner fullness. You know, that sense that everybody's had since every incarnation begins with the same thing. You're born into separation, and then you spend years picking up cues from everybody to see who and what you are. And you believe that those outside have the rules and the truth of the world. And then as you grow up, you find that you're longing for others to recognize you and others to acknowledge you and others to include you and all that. But you're not recognizing that what that longing is the longing to come home to God. And that every time you make the connection on the outside with someone that you think you're going to get something from, you find that it's usually a sense of betrayal because it can't fulfill that longing that you truly feel to come home to the divine, to find your true self, to meet your divine self that is one with God. And those that you thought betrayed you then become the extension of the beloved that you are. That every beloved that you've ever met is one with you. There's only one heart. And it has nothing to do with their personalities. It has nothing to do with their behaviors, their culture, their history, their stories. It doesn't, none of that has anything to do with that there's only one spirit, one light, one love, and that no one carries anything that is needed to be defended against. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Everyone is looking for that safety, which is in the peace of God and the letting go of the belief that there's anything to battle with or anyone to prove anything to or to get anything from or to believe that they have more clout or that they have more influence or that they're easier to love or any of the other thousand things that you can make differences with. It's letting all of it go and loving all equally, completely. It's not equally by a little. It's in the equality that is all encompassing and all consuming. And learning to love is the relinquishment of likes and dislikes. All the ideas of I like this about this or I like this about that, it all falls away because you want to be in deep love with everything. Everything is just love. And without the perception of need for likes and dislikes, which are part of the world of confusion, I like, I dislike, I like, I dislike. I like you, I don't like you. You said something I didn't like, now I don't like you. It has nothing to do with love. It's just the child's game of playing with likes and dislikes instead of opening to the holy union of love that includes everybody, everyone. And to realize that all the habits that have been developed, presumably to stay safe, all those habits come from whatever you've accepted into your mind that you believe is real. And all that you're being called to do is to let God lead, to let God open the doors and you follow. And how easy it is to then follow with love. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. Love is right here to direct you now in every moment. But it's that trust of stepping back. It's kind of like having one of those tests of trust that are used sometimes, where you fall backwards and someone else catches you. and it shows you how trusting you are in the moment. And that's the trust that you fall back into God all the time, is that you're trusting that you're going to be held. You're going to be shown the way. You're going to be taken care of in a sense of that you cannot be without, that it isn't God's will for you to suffer. But that if you think you know, then it's going to be suffering, because what you know from the past is just the repetitive beliefs of fear. And now you're ready to step way beyond that past fear and come into trust, and to trust in love, and to follow and to listen because you truly want to, and to recognize that the habits that are running everything have all come from thoughts from the past, and put them all into the bonfire of love, put them all into God's love, and follow. That's all there is. Follow.